Good morning and welcome to the European Parliament. Today is the day. At 6 p.m., the winner of the LUX Audience Award 2026 will be announced by Parliament's Vice President Sabine Verheyen. I'm Vincenzo Genovese, and I have the pleasure of hosting today a roundtable with the representatives of the 5 films in competition broadcast live on Euronews YouTube channel. So, joining me today are Tim with Noise, actor in Christie, Eva Libertad, director of Def, Rachel Kahn, producer of Love Me Tender, and we have also Philippe Martin, producer of It Was Just an Accident. He is connected from Paris. Bonjour, Philippe. So thank you everyone
Bonjour.
for being with us. I'll start with a simple question. Pick one word to define your movie.
Community.
Wow. Why?
The film at the heart of the film, it's about Christie trying to find his place in the world, and through that, through the community he meets, he finds his tribe and finds his place. So it's all about finding community and the power that community can bring to healing. Yeah.
Okay. Eva. It's difficult one word, I know, but let's try.
Yes, I think love, yes.
We have seen much love in your movie, in Def.
Yes.
Maybe a kind of love that is not so common.
Yes, I think sort of Def arises from this desire to explore in depth the complexity of the bond between the deaf world and the hearing world. The complication and conflicts, but also the love and connection. And I think that it's a love story between the mother and her child, the couple, the protagonist couple. And I think the idea that I've been worked with during all the process was love.
At the same point, there is a third person in this love, which is the baby, which is, of course, loved by both parents. But this creates some kind of complication,
yes.
Because love is always complicated, I would say. No?
Yes, and because love, in the beginning of a relationship, when they are alone, it's all is perfect, the communication is perfect, but when with the baby's arrival, all the problems start to arise.
Okay, and speaking of love, Rachel.
I would pick
Love Me
freedom.
Tender. Freedom, wow.
Yes, I
I'm curious.
would. Yeah, because at the end of the day, Love Me Tender really follows a character who tries to jungle with her complex identities, because she is a mother, she is a queer person, she's a woman, and she's trying to make everything work out together. And of course, she's a writer too. And all of this is being stripped by her ex-husband, who takes her son's custody away from her. So I feel like this word would really describe her journey into being truly who she is.
Very interesting topics as well. We will dig further later. Philippe, it's your turn. Pick one word, please.
Futur.
Wow, okay.
Le futur. Le futur du peuple iranien, une fois qu'il aura retrouvé sa liberté, et quelles solutions il aura, et quelles possibilités, et quel chemin il devra prendre pour retrouver un fonctionnement démocratique.
How difficult was to produce, you spoke about future, but let's speak also about the present in Iran today. How difficult it is to produce a movie set in Iran nowadays?
Ce film n'a pu se tourner que clandestinement. Il n'y avait aucune possibilité d'avoir une autorisation officielle pour tourner. Donc Jafar Panahi a pris le risque pendant presque 30 jours de tournage de se faire arrêter chaque jour par la police. Ce qui a fini par arriver à 2 jours de la fin du tournage, mais il a quand même réussi à faire les 2 jours qui lui manquaient ensuite.
Okay, and it's also interesting sometimes to go behind the scenes to know these little details about movies. Eva, you also have some kind of, I won't say hardships, but maybe challenges when to produce this movie.
This project has different has differences from another project because the main actress of the project is a deaf actress, and she's my sister in real life, and she's deaf in real life. And there were more deaf actors in the project and deaf team. So we needed to create a very caring and accessible set. So I think that's the most different thing in this process. Yes.
Is more difficult because of the particularity of this movie, or is more difficult? It was more difficult because it's difficult to direct your sister for the personal relation.
Yes, I think it wasn't difficult. It was different. We just had to create some protocol, and directing my sister was amazing. We have already worked together in theater and in a short film with the same title, Deaf, and we knew each other as a director and actress. The only thing that I think it was tough, or it was that if I knew that if I see my sister
uncomfortable.
Yes, uncomfortable on set, I wasn't able to work as director, so I needed to create this caring, comfortable set. Yes.
And a deep connection between director and actors helps a lot, I guess, no?
Yeah.
I don't know if it, in your experience, was the same in terms of empathy with the director.
Yeah, I mean, that's everything, you know. You need the trust, and Brendan had approached me for Christy over Facebook, actually, originally, and just to know that, you know, you're already wanted. Really, it takes off the performance-based, like, it's not result orientated performing, you know. It becomes about the processes, the result, and it's hugely creative. So there's a huge sense of family, you know, which you already had.
Metaphoric family, let's say. As an Irish young man, how much of your private experience, personal experience, did you find in this movie?
A lot came out. The one thing I really found through this film, I think a lot of Irish males, we struggle being vulnerable, you know, and we really, we're really longing for connection. It's just, you know, years of the history of what's happened in Ireland and everything, you know. So that really resonated with me. That's what my character was going through and what Christy was going through, and that came out in my personal life.
You play the elder son of Chris.
I play Shane. Yeah. Christy's brother, who takes him in, and it's about what's not said and what's longing to be said between Irish men in the film, and it's.
Speaking of connection, I turn to Rachel because Love Me Tender is a film about connection, but also about discrimination of LGBTQI people. This is a topic that is widely debated also here in the European Parliament. Do you think it's addressed enough in Europe?
I think it's addressed, but the reality of this community is still complex because we can see that their condition might have evolved through Europe, but it remains uneven because you can see that it's more in the deep social circles that LGBTQIA plus people can be threatened and can be questioned as authentically being themselves. So I think it's still a debate, and we still need some movies and directors, people doing art to stir the debate around how we accept people living outside social norms.
Okay. I'm going to Philippe. As you may have understood, Philippe is answering in French, but here everybody understands French, no? The second most beautiful language of Europe, I would say. Philippe, I'm joking just because the next question is not a joke. This movie, it was just an accident, puts us in front of a kind of difficult question. It's how should we treat our torturers? What's your answer?
C'est très difficile de répondre. Déjà, je ne peux pas répondre à la place de Jafar Panahi ou de quelqu'un qui vivrait en Iran. C'est-à-dire que moi, j'ai aidé Jafar Panahi à faire ce film, j'ai tout fait pour que ce film existe et puisse être vu dans le monde entier, avoir des récompenses. Mais je ne peux pas me substituer à la parole d'un Iranien sur ces sujets. C'est des sujets trop importants et qui traduisent auxquels on ne peut répondre qu'avec un vécu et une expérience politique que je n'ai pas. Ce que je peux juste dire, c'est que Jafar Panahi a beaucoup réfléchi sur la fin de son film. Comment il fallait que son film termine et quel était le sentiment que l'on devait avoir par rapport au bourreau du film et la possibilité qu'il puisse être pardonné par les personnes qui l'avaient agressé. Et il a souhaité une fin très ouverte et qui ne soit pas trop claire dans une direction ou dans une autre. Il voulait pas que le film dise clairement oui, nos bourreaux seront pardonnés ou non, on ne les pardonnera jamais. Il tenait à ce que le spectateur fasse son chemin par rapport à cette situation.
As you mentioned, Jafar Panahi, the director of It Was Just an Accident, he said that usually this kind of movie, this kind of film is produced after a regime is over. But you did it before, I mean, when the regime was already there. So did you fear any retaliation for the shape in which Iran is portrayed in this film?
Si le film est un portrait d'Iran, c'est ça votre question?
Oui, yes. It's if you fear any kind of retaliation from Iranian authorities for the way that you portrayed it in your film, the situation in Iran nowadays. I mean, not nowadays, but maybe not nowadays because of the war, but the situation of the Iranian regime.
Je ne suis pas sûr de bien comprendre la question.
It's basically if you have any fears of what can happen to the director or to anybody involved in this film.
C'est très là encore, je peux pas parler pour Jafar. C'est des sujets trop intimes et trop importants pour que je donne un point de vue qui ne peut être que le point de vue de quelqu'un qui... Je connais un peu l'Iran parce que j'y suis allé il y a quelques années, mais qui est quand même le point de vue de quelqu'un d'étranger. Donc sur la question vraiment de la situation politique iranienne aujourd'hui, même Jafar s'exprime avec beaucoup de précaution.
Okay, and I understand that it's a delicate matter. And speaking of delicate situation, your movie speaks also about the unease of the Gen Z, of the young people. What's your take on this?
Wow. Again, I think it comes back to community. I think a lot of the Gen Z, what I found through this film is, after COVID, after all that kind of stuff that happened, a lot of people, they've been cut off socially. And I think we need to bring that back a lot more, you know, the social norms.
And there is also a different way to perceive the world between them, the youngest, and us. Well, maybe not you, us, the older, no? The different way to perceive the reality and also the life.
What's the question?
if there is, in your opinion, a different way to perceive the world, to live, if you see a big gap between us and them, a big generational gap.
I mean, there was a place called the Cabin, which was like that. They were all the young kids, now young adults in the film. A lot of them were street cast. They came from a place called the Cabin, and I think art is they teach them how to in the cabin how to rap, how to create music, how to create art, and a lot of the younger generation, I think it was hugely beneficial to them in the cabin. They struggle to verbalize what they're going through in life, but if you ask them to write a rap or write a piece of music, it's like therapy for them. It all comes out, and I think art is a huge thing that stands the test of time with any generation, and I think that's something that the younger generation can really benefit from. I think that will really help bring out the voices again, you know?
Yeah. As you mentioned, difficulties, struggling to verbalize. I go to Eva. Do you think that your film can change in some way, at least in Spain, the life of the deaf people? For example, after watching it, I think I can talk more easily to the deaf people. I learned, for example, that it's important that they can read your lips or that they can watch your hands to understand what you are saying. Do you think this will produce in some way a good impact in the society?
I don't know. I wish. I hope so. But I think it's soon to know if the movie is going to impact. But I think that there are a lot of hearing audience that send us message about how the movie changed their perspective about deafness, about deaf community, and about diversity. Because I think that this movie help people to think about the normality, which is normality, because I think that the true normality is diversity.
For everybody, yes.
Normality does not exist.
And it's also a very good topic in Love Me Tender, no? What's normality? How people struggle to be considered as normal, as the character of Love Me Tender.
Yes, true. And it really follows this through the eyes of justice also. Because, as you can see, Clémence is the victim of a huge injustice from, the misogyny and homophobia that runs through the eyes of people who were taking part in her trial for her son's custody. So I feel like it has different levels. You know, it has the family level, social level, and also the political and law level that gives what's normal and what's not, and that we should all question.
And there is also this sort of dilemma for Clémence, between the relationship with the son and asserting her own personality, which is, I think, a very relevant topic for women today.
Yeah, and this dilemma is not really chosen. It's kind of like put on her, and it's just more about her journey into dealing with the time justice imposes on her because she didn't choose it, and the time of childhood because it is not compatible, and she tries to remain a mother, and she remains a mother at the end of the day. When you think about it, it's just her trying to to pursue the battle, and she chooses what she chooses.
Okay, and this is the message, a good message, I
Yeah.
think. And Philippe, also your film sends a strong message. What's the main message, in your opinion, that we should take?
Message.
What's the main message that we should take from your film? Of course, any watcher has a different one.
The message of my film. La réponse est un petit peu la même que pour votre première question. Le message du film, c'est comment s'organiser et comment reconstruire une démocratie en sachant que cette démocratie devra se construire avec les personnes qui ont semé la terreur pendant des décennies. Et la question que pose le film de Jafar, c'est celle-ci. C'est vraiment... c'est une question à laquelle, en France, on a été beaucoup confronté, et pas seulement en France, qui a été de reconstruire un pays avec les gens qui avaient collaboré pendant la Deuxième Guerre mondiale. Comment l'Allemagne a réussi à un moment donné à se reconstruire et à reconstruire une démocratie avec toutes les personnes qui avaient également été les artisans du Troisième Reich. Et la question du film de Jafar, c'est celle-ci. C'est il faudra trouver une solution, et est-ce que cette solution sera dans le pardon ou est-ce que la solution sera dans la vengeance? C'est un petit peu ça la question morale qui est posée.
As you mentioned democracy and also briefly the history of Europe, I would ask, what would you ask to the European Parliament, to the members of the European Parliament, if you meet them, because we are here in the House of European Democracy, your colleagues will meet probably several MEPs tonight during the ceremony. What would be your request for them?
Mon souhait, c'est vraiment que l'Europe puisse faire absolument tout ce qu'elle peut pour aider à ce que l'Iran retrouve le chemin de la démocratie. Et qu'en effet, l'exemple de l'Europe montre à quel point on peut reconstruire sur des ruines, comment on peut partir d'une situation qui était une situation encore plus horrible que celle que connaissent les Iraniens aujourd'hui, parce que pendant la guerre, c'est toute l'Europe qui est en conflit, et c'est toutes les horreurs qu'on connaît. Et en même temps, l'Europe réussit à retrouver les ressources en elle pour reconstruire une démocratie, et pour reconstruire une démocratie à 27, ce qui est complètement fou, en fait. C'est sûrement, peut-être quand on se penchera sur l'histoire des civilisations, comme on le fait quand on regarde ce qui s'est passé il y a des millénaires, on se dira il y a eu ce moment incroyable où des pays ont réussi cette reconstruction-là de cette façon. Et à partir de là, on a certainement une expérience de ça, une connaissance de ça, et qu'on doit certainement pouvoir apporter un soutien à un moment donné. Alors c'est peut-être pas aujourd'hui le moment, encore que, mais on sent que peut-être ce moment va être, qu'on n'a jamais été aussi près de ce moment, et à partir de là, oui, je pense que l'Europe peut être un soutien essentiel dans l'expérience et dans la capacité à accompagner les Iraniens dans un nouveau chemin de vie.
A request joined, shared by several citizens, I would say. Same question before we go, same question for you. You will meet some MEPs, vice presidents of the European Parliament. What would you ask them?
My only request to them would be keep European cinema alive. I think those cultural hubs. We need more art, artistic hubs in working class areas around Europe, and I think the power that cinema has to heal. couple of times now people come up to me at screenings who have family issues, and they're saying like they can't speak to their family, but if they show them that film, Christie, that might have a massive effect. That, like, there's, you know, brothers can talk to each other through watching
which
film.
is the universal language of art
Yeah,
that we mentioned before. Eva?
I think we need more inclusion policies, and I would ask them to create a more accessible culture in order to deaf community and diverse people with diversity can live in better conditions and to access the culture and to create culture together. Yes.
Do you think not enough has been done at the moment in Europe?
No.
We have a long way to walk. Rachel, last shot is yours.
I'll take the three answers and mix them. I think.
Okay.
I really liked everything that was said. Of course, more inclusion, just like Eva said, and as Dermot said, yes, I would ask them to resist to the threats that are being put on art, because when they can be some people saying that art is not that important and that we should cut budget, we should not invest as much as we do, but I do believe that European cinema is a cinema of diversity, and that it helps also experience empathy, because you can travel through cinema basically, and just with the films that were selected here, just take really acknowledge different social matters through Europe and through, for example, Ireland. So I would say that.
Another very good message, which brings our debate to an end. Thanks, Eva. Thanks, Eva. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks,
I'm Eva.
Dirmit. No. Thanks, Dirmit. Thanks, Eva. Thanks, Rachel. Merci beaucoup, Philippe. Thank you, everybody, for watching this debate. The winner of the LUX Award will be announced today here at the European Parliament at 6 p.m. Brussels time. Euronews will follow, of course. So stay in touch and may the best win today. Have a nice day.
Thank you.